What's up, guys? Back with another video, and in this video today I'll be explaining about like why BMI does not reveal you have a healthy weight, right? So this is the biggest problem to me, when it comes to like BMI, like if I'm overweight or underweight or not. But BMI seems to, if you don't know what BMI is, you just BMI stands for body mass index, right? It's just a measure like whether you're overweight or not. But a lot of people tend to get confused about this BMI thing, even now to like these days. And even I'm confused because BMI was invented in like the 1800s, and then like it was invented like almost 200 years ago, and then like things change. People change, people like the environment changed, everything changed. So BMIs are so inaccurate. So in this video, I'll be explaining you the two biggest reasons and going into detail why the body mass index, or you can call it BMI, is so inaccurate, and why it never reveals that you have a healthy weight. So there's two main reasons why BMI never tells you you have a healthy weight, right? One reason is because of muscles, right? Muscles and bones, strong bones and muscle like added to your body. And keep this in mind, man, muscle weighs more than fat, right? Yeah, cause BMI, I think people invented like BMI, just to measure like how much body fat you have and how much like, but it does not measure like how much like muscles or bones, or body shape you have, right? So that's the thing, man. So cause let me explain in what is a BMI is, and what's the healthy weight, what's the underweight, and what's the overweight. So BMI, let me give you a full definition of BMI before I go through that. So if a person's underweight, then their BMI is less than 18.5, right? And if you have a normal weight, your BMI should be 18.5 through 25. So if your BMI is between there, then you're healthy. And if you're overweight, your BMI is between 25 to 30. So typically when people get to like overweight or underweight, they tend to get worried so much about their weight. And people who are obese have a BMI of 30 or greater. So yeah, this is just in general, man. But just because your BMI is healthy doesn't mean that you are 100% healthy. That is simply not true. But yeah, like I said, man, muscles and stuff, right? Especially mans like to build like a lots of muscle, right? Especially man. Well, I do see some female that has a lot of muscle too, but it's mostly common in man because man, tend to weigh like 20% like more than female, just due to their muscle mass, right? And strong bone, and they just want to look big and muscular. That's what I think. So yeah, just for example, like a football player, right? Yeah, football player, the BMI is definitely has to be like around like at least like 28 or above. And the BMI does not bother them at all. They need a lot of weight and muscle, because if they don't have a lot of muscles and weight, and they might do poor performance in sport, right? That's what I'm saying. Or people want to lift weight just to look like, want to weight lifting, weight champ stuff, they need to have a lot of muscle, or else they're just gonna fail, right? Yeah, so bones and muscle, or just large body frame is, that's why BMI does not like measure those kind of thing, right? And keep this in mind, man. And there's a second reason why BMI does not tell you have your healthy weight. There's no reason aside from just having a lot of muscle itself. It's because BMI is only measured in per square pound, right? However, man, but according to the video, like I heard that if you double your size, you're growing in cubic, right? So let's say that if you double your height, you have to weigh 8 times heavier, right? That's insane, man. This is why, like, as you get tall, you know, for people who are really tall, they have to weigh a lot, because if they weigh as much as short people, then they're going to be considered as skinny. And for people who weigh as much as tall people, they'll be considered as, you know, overweight, fat, obese. So yeah. So here's the problem between like short and tall people when it comes to weight. Short people tend to look like overweight, you know, just because of their short, right? Just because they weigh as much as a normal person, even though they're short, that means they're considered overweight. And if you're tall and if you weigh as much as an average person, you know, I should say that we're average instead of say normal, then tall people is just gonna look skinny. That's where the bias like comes through, right? Yeah, BMIs tend always to be biased against like tall people, and BMI tend to be always biased against short people when it comes to overweight. Yeah, and I noticed that when I calculate the children's BMI, they tend to have lower BMI and tend to have healthier weight. But if the BMI is the same as for adult, you know, who's a lot bigger and taller, then they will become skinny, right? So this is where the question begins, like, why, you know, why does this matter, right? Yeah, like I said, man, because BMI, you know, let me give you a formula of the BMI. So I just took a screenshot, you know, so that way I can explain you the exact thing, because I don't want to explain you the wrong information and you get upset and you hit the dislike button, or you might report this video. I don't want you to do that. But I'm taking a picture, you know, just tell you the exact truth. So the Imperial English BMI formula is you know, weight in pounds times 703 divided by height in inch per square, right? As you can see, so I'll write down the thing in the description below. So let me repeat again, because sometimes I say it. So weight in pounds times 703 divided by height in square inch, right? And metric BMI for, or you know, or BMI has two formula, or you know, like weight in kilograms divided by height in square meter. So because BMI only measure in square meter, you know, it does not measure in cubic. So this is where BMI kind of lies to you, like, why, you know, you just have a normal BMI and all of a sudden you look skinny, like I said, because it's only measured in cubic meter, right? In square meter. Remember, man, every human or every object is three-dimensional. So yeah, so let me tell you like what's wrong with that. So let me use the BMI calculator. So how tall, you know, what happens if you double your height, you know, if you double your height, right? Do you actually gain like 8 times heavier for BMI, or your BMI stays the same? So let's say that you're 5 feet tall and, you know, and you weigh 100 pounds. So that's just for example. So your BMI would be 19.5, right? So let me put in as you're 10 feet tall and you weigh 400 pounds. So still 19.5, right? So that's the thing. BMI is only measured in square, and that's a problem, because if you only gain 4 times, if you're only 4 times heavier, and if you gain, you know, double your height, then you're gonna look like skinny and super unhealthy. A 10-foot person who weighs 400 pounds, that's look too skinny to me. And yeah, they're gonna have bone problem and osteoporosis. But I don't think people will ever go to 10 feet. No way. The tallest man is not even 10 feet, you know. He's not even 9 feet. He's 8'11" to begin with. So I'm just giving you an example of what happens when you double your height. So let's say that a 5-foot person weighs 100 pounds. That's the ideal weight for a 5-foot person. And then all of a sudden you're like 10 feet, and then you need to weigh 800 pounds. And then all of a sudden your BMI goes up to like 39.1, and that is considered unhealthy. But let me explain you this. Like I said, man, the reason why you have to accumulate weight, you know, even though you grow a little bit or you grow a lot, even though you grow like half an inch or 1 inch, the reason why you have to gain at least 5 to 10 pounds is because you're growing in cubic, right? And this is where it adds up a lot of weight. So I show you like like 1 or 2 inch makes a big difference if you're growing in height, right? So 800 pounds for 10 feet tall, you know, that's a BMI 39.1, and that's considered like really overweight, but no, you're just growing cubic. Or potentially, you know, what happened if you double your height again? So you became like 20 feet tall, and so that means it'll be 8 times 800, you weigh 64, like 6,400 pounds. So from 20 feet compared to a 20-foot person compared to a 5-foot person, you know, weight's like 64 times difference, but 4 times taller, right? Because it's like 4 divided by 3, you know, 4 to the, you cubic 4 and you get a 64, right? So that means your BMI must be like over 50 or maybe close to 100. But that does not seem overweight. Why do you have to like, why do you have to add your weight in cubic as you grow taller, right? Yeah, the reason why you have to add cubic is because you have to add your height, you know. When you double your height, you double your length, you double your width. So this is where the weight adds up. So the weight add up on the length, and the weight add up on the width, and the weight add up on the height. So this is why you gain 8 times heavier when you're doubling your height. Or if you're tripling your height, you will be 27 times heavier, right? Yeah, because if you don't know what I'm talking about, let's just take this cube for an example, right? Let's say this cube weighs 1 pound, but in reality, this does not weigh 1 pound. But I'm giving you an example. This cube weighs 1 pound, right? And so, like, and then, you know, you take, and you want to double this cube size. Let's say that you don't want this cube to like look out of shape, so you want to double in size, right? Or triple in size. So let's say what happened when you double in size. So here's what happened. So you will need, so this thing weighs 1 pound, and if you double in size, then this thing weighs about 8 pounds, right? So yeah, because you see, I mean, see, the width is, the length and the height are the same, and if they both like agree, and if they're both like the same or not disproportionate, then it's 8 times heavier, right? Total of this weighs 8 cube, 8 pounds, because each cube weighs 1 pound. That's what I'm saying, right? Or if we take this big cube, for example, you know, or a bigger cube, you know, this weighs about 27 pounds, right? Because this is like 3 times taller than this cube, but then, you know, the length and the width is 3 times as much as 2. So see, it can fit like 27 cubes. So look at this, man. Oh, sorry, I dropped this cube. Oh, I lost it. But anyway, sorry about that. I dropped the cube and I'm just a little unprepared. I have to go down. Oh, there it is. Oh boy. Right, so here's where all this explanation like comes through. See, this is still only so when this cube is 9 times heavier, if that little cube is 9 times heavier, then this big cube is still obviously 3 times heavier, right? See, so it's only a third of the size of this cube. So see, so this is 1/3, and you put another 9 cube here, this is 2/3, and you have here is 3 out of 3, so it's 27 times. So now you get a whole hint of why you have to cubic your size if you're growing double in height, or if you gain a little percentage in height, right? So this is where it all begins. So if you grow 1 inch, let's say that you grew from 5 foot to 5'1". So now you find a formula. So to order to find your ideal weight, if you're growing taller, you take your current height divided by your previous height, you know, to find your ideal weight, and then you time it by the cubic. And once you find the number, then it will come out like 1.1 or 1.2. Then you time it to the power 3, and then you take your previous weight that you weigh for that current height times that, and it will equal to like what's your ideal weight for that height. So sorry, I'm not good at explanation, but I just trying to like explain as much as I can. So let's say that 5 feet tall, weigh 100 pounds. So you take 61. Let's say that if you don't know how much you have to weigh for being 5'1", you just take 61 divided by 60 and you get 1.016666667. So, and then you time it to the, and then you cube it, so you do exponent of 3 and it will give you 1.0508. So let's just say that I post it as 1.5, right? So you do 1.5 times 100 and there's your ideal weight for 5'1". So around 105 or 106 pounds. Now let's say that you're suddenly 6 feet tall, right? So like I said, do the same thing. You do 6 feet divided by 5 feet. That gives you 1.2, right? And see, 1.2. So, and you do 1.2, do the exponential of 3. Because I really don't know how tall you guys are, man. Like whoever's viewing this. Okay, you just need to figure out, like I give you a formula. So at the end of this video, if you like this video or if you don't dislike video, whether you like this video now, I'll post the formula at the end of the video, like to find your real ideal weight by my new formula. And I hope this video helps you a lot. And I hope that I'm not doing anything wrong to make you unhealthy or make you really like overweight or skinny. I hope I try to be as helpful as possible. Because most people did not know that they have to gain 8 times heavier as they double their size. They did not know that they have to grow in cubic, right? Same thing as I do. This is why I was skinny before, because BMI never told me that I was healthy, how much fat I have in my body. Never tells me I have muscle. Never told me that I have to grow in cubic size. Never explain any of that. It just say that if you increase your height, you just like squared it up, not cubic. Look, 3-dimensional, length, width, height. I explain this over and over again. It's getting tiring. So when you cubic 1.2, you know, 60 divided by 5 go 1.2, and if you cubic it, you get 1.728. And then you time it by 100 because that's how much a 5 foot person weight, like I said. And so a 6 foot person has to weigh, let's say, approximately 173 pounds. That's why, you know, when you grow a foot tall, that's why you weigh nearly double the size of a shorter person. If you're 1 foot tall difference, mainly because you grow in cubic, right? So yeah, because if a 6 foot person is any skinnier than 170 pounds, they'll become skinny, right? So like I said, man, 6 feet tall, 173 pounds, right? And I get it, like why tall people tend to be handicapped, because they're so skinny, you know, their bone cannot handle their weight. That's why, you know, because of, you know, gravity stuff. That's why lots of tall people tend to be skinny. Like I look at all these basketball players and I thought they look healthy and stuff. Their BMI is okay, but they look really skinny. You know why? Like I said, man, because they're super tall. Like I think the average height of a human is like 5'10". Yeah, 5'10" is the average height in my opinion, right? Or 6 feet tall, right? But these NBA player, you know, for example, they're like at least average height 6'6". So let's say that for an NBA player, you know, so I take 6.5 divided by 6, and that's a 1.08333% increase in height, and then you take by cubic and you time it by 173 pounds. So if you're like 2 meters tall or 6'6", then you have to weigh approximately 220 pounds. But most NBA players, they only weigh around like 205 or even under 200. So yeah, this is where all these bias come from, you know. Let's say that, for example, like Kevin Durant, right? Kevin Durant is 6'9", you know, weigh 240 pounds, and people are considering him as skinny, even though his BMI is classified as overweight. Because according to his calculation, his BMI is like 25, like 0.4 or 3. But he's skinny, even though he's overweight. You know why? Because BMI is so stupid and biased. Does not say that he has no Does not say that how much muscle he has, how much like fat he has. Kevin Durant literally has no fat. He's just a skinny like person. And another thing why BMI tend to be wrong is because Kevin Durant also lied about his height too. So he's actually 6'11", not even 6'9". So BMI might be a little wrong there. So, or take for example like the tallest man, you know, Robert Waldo, right? I don't know how much you have to weigh for 9 feet tall. So let me see. Oh, simple as that. 9 divided by 5. So here's the solution. 9 divided by 5 give you 1.8, right? Yeah, 1.8. So from 5 feet to 9 feet is a 180% height increase, right? Or 80% increase. So the total like height ratio is 1.8, and you take a cubic and then you get 5.832, and then you time it by 100. So if you were 9 feet tall or almost, or as tall as the tallest man, then you have to weigh 583 pounds. And how much does Robert Waldo weigh? I mean, I know that this guy has bone problem mainly because he looks so disproportionate. The reason why you're skinny is because, you know, your height, your length, your width does not looks really disproportionate, because you grow too much your height. You either grow too much your height. If you're overweight, then you grow too much your width or length. But if you're skinny, you grow too much in height, not growing enough in length and width. And this is why you're skinny, right? So here's the thing. So how much Robert Waldo weight? Because he's the tallest man and he's 8'11". So at the time he died, he was 8'11" and weighed 490 pounds. So yeah, this guy looked like a slender man, right? I mean, he weighs a little more than the slender man. He looks a little more like buffer, right? I mean, yeah, I do see that he does look a little overweight in around his waist, but then his upper body like look like kind of like bony and stuff. Yeah, he is to me he is skinny, but most people say that he looks okay, but to me he's skinny. 490 pounds, so he's supposed to weigh 583 pounds. Well, I think he has enough tissue, but then his bones are too thin, and that's why they can't support his weight. That's why being too tall is sometimes a problem, because, you know, as you get taller, you have to support like all those heavy weight. Just imagine like being 9 feet tall, like your bone has to support like 5 or 6 times heavier comparing to a short person, to a normal person. So 1.5 times 3. So regular men are like 6 feet tall, right? I mean, if you were a 9-foot person, you know, like their bone compared to a 6-foot person bone, a 9-foot person's bone has to support like more than like 3 times heavier, right? And that's like too much pressure on the bone, and soon it'll go crack, and this person go handicapped forever, right? And that sucks, man. Yeah, if he gains like I'm just saying, man, if the tallest man gained like 80 more pounds on his bone, if his bones weigh 80 pounds heavier, and if it's stronger, then this guy will not be handicapped, you know. He will not have to walk with his cane like an old man. Robert Waldo would just be fine, you know, if he weighs around 500 pounds, as long as he has strong bones and healthy body weight, and, you know, and do things what's right for him, right? Yeah, so he's like almost 100-pound underweight, the world's tallest man. Most people don't see it this way. So why does animals, same thing with animals, you know, everything double their size or triple the size has to be growing in cubic. So I'll just give you several examples, that way you understand what I'm saying. Like why BMI, you know, fail to measure things in cubic. They only measure things in square, which is so unrealistic. So let me take, for example, a baby giraffe, right? The full-grown giraffe is 3 times taller than the baby giraffe, if it's a male one. If it's a female, then it will just be 2.5 times taller, right? Let's say that a baby giraffe is 6 feet tall, weighs 150 pounds, right? Of course, the giraffes are always tall and skinny, right? But then, you know, and they still look skinny even though they're 3 times taller. And guess how much they weigh if they're 18 feet tall. So you do 150, you know, like I said, you do 3 to the cubic of 3 and you get 27, and you time 150 pounds. And so expect a male giraffe to weigh at least 2 tons if they were 18 feet tall. But the website said that they weigh a maximum of 3,000 pounds. Like, I don't think this giraffe weighs 3,000 pounds. I put it at 2 tons at least. So to order for giraffe not to be skinny and at 18 feet height, they have to weigh at least 2 tons. So this is like freaking insane, man. Like, most people think like, oh, giraffe are skinny, they only weigh like less than a ton, but no, they're weighing 2 tons. Like, that's like, I don't know, like a third or half the weight of an elephant. Yeah, like I said, man, it's the height that's making them weigh a lot too, because they need to grow in length and width, because if their height is proportionate, they're gonna have a problem with their body and they're not gonna be healthy. Same thing with animals, right? So like great white shark, they weigh about a ton, right? While as in megalodons, like 4 or 5 times longer, they weigh about like 50 to 20 times heavier compared to the great white shark, right? You see where all these explanation comes from, right? Or yeah, let's just say that you're 10 times taller, right? 10 times taller means you weigh 1,000 times heavier. So now you get the idea of why BMI is inaccurate. So let me explain you 2 main reasons why BMI is inaccurate. First of all, fail to distinguish between muscles and fat, and fail to distinguish that you guys are growing in cubic, right? Because if you only grow like per square inch as you get taller, you know, then there's gonna be a problem, because either you lack your length or width. And so this is why you're not gaining enough weight as you get taller, and this is why you look so bony, right? Or gaunt, right? Yeah, so this is all these explanation here, man. Or if you don't want to weigh a lot, you know, if growing cubic like takes up too much weight, or if you want to find your ideal weight, just add like every like 6 pound, you know, after 100 pound of 5 feet for every additional inch, right? For example, 5'1", 106, 5'2", 112, 5'3", 118 pounds, and so on, right? That's if you're a male, but if you're a female, it's only 5 pounds for every additional inch after 5 feet. But let's say that you put it to 100 to 90 pounds, right? And depending on your body frame, if you have small body frame, then you weigh 10% less than normal, right? If you weigh normal, then you just start at 100 pound, you know, at 5 tall, and every additional inch you're taller than it, just add like 5 or 6 pounds depending on if you're female or male or not. Don't have to go over calculation. And if so this is where you find your ideal weight, right? If that makes a little more sense. And there's this new formula that the health like came up with, like instead of BMI measuring like per square inch, is measured from 2.5, right? So not growing cubic, yeah, 2.5 seems a little more reasonable than 3, because human, they don't grow in cubic, right? So yeah, let's say what happens if you double your height and if you time it by exponent of 2.5. So that means that for doubling height, you just weigh about 5.66 times heavier. So that's not too bad, right? And that's not too heavy, but then, you know, you're just gonna lack your length and width, and your bones gonna have a problem supporting all that heavy weight. Your bones just have a problem. If you have really strong bone that weigh heavy and very strong and supported, then you can be tall, right? Without any doubt problems, right? So yeah, so I think this is a lot of explanation about here, and I want to end this video and hit thumbs up if you really agree with me about this. So yeah, man, I hope you understand that BMI is is never gonna reveal your healthy weight. And don't waste your money like visiting doctors like, am I healthy or not? But just stay at this weight. Whatever weight feels healthy for you, just stay at this weight, right? Or just listen to my idea that if you want to be lean, just follow form. I put all in the description below, all these formulas, you know, you need to know. So if you follow it, then I think you should be fine, right? Or if you have lots of muscle, then just keep working out, you know, burn some fat, gain bigger muscles. I'm talking for the males one, right? Female can do as well, you know, like just building muscles, looking good on them, right? Yeah, I honestly don't want to build muscles, you know, because I just want to stay like lean so I can run like long distances. Because some people want to stay thin because they're just afraid of being overweight, and some people want to be heavy, you know, just want to be big and bulky. It just all depend on the person, right? We're just all different, so that's it. I gotta end this video up here, and have a good night, and peace out. And comment below if I'm not explaining enough, or if I'm going through enough detail, or if you don't understand, look down the formula, you know, or look at the reasoning, what I put in the description. But hey man, hope this became clear, and yep, bye bye.